Could you start tell us about your journey as an industry representative? How did all begin? Tell us about your entire path and what you're currently doing in IT sphere.
Of course, my name is Courage. I'm 26 years old and I've been working in IT for 2 years now. Currently, I'm a junior backend developer at Tech Nova Solutions here in Astana. Besides my main job, I occasionally participate in community events where we help newcomers learn programming basics. It all started at university. I studied at NACOS University for my bachelor's in business information systems, and now I'm pursuing my master's in I2. In university, I was most drawn to data structures and problem solving. I realized that backend development was my calling. While studying, I worked part-time as a tutor, and after classes, I would learn Python. Then I heard about JavaScript and Node. They were gaining popularity. I tried them out and simply fell in love with these technologies, and I've been focused on them ever since.
Okay, second question. Why specifically Node? Why not say or Java or PHP or whatever else the language? There is a lot of languages. Why especially Node?
Well, I started with Python, like many people, but JavaScript offered something unique, the ability to work with both front end and back end. So Node was like a breath of fresh air. It was fast, sufficient, and it had a great package management through NPM. I was attracted to it by its event-driven architecture and huge community support. I began solving problems with JavaScript, then joined an open source project on GitHub. This helped tremendously with both my resume and experience. Also, Node was becoming increasingly popular in microservice architecture, especially in startups where development speed matters.
Short question for our group. Where did you study? Why did you choose this particular specialty?
Well, I studied at two universities, first at NACOS for my bachelor's, and now I'm at I2 for my master's. And why IT? I've been fascinated by computers since my childhood. At first, I just played games, then I became interested in how websites and applications work. When I was 16, I created my first website using HTML and a bit of CSS, without logic, of course, but I thought it was amazing. After that, I definitely decided that I wanted to be a developer. When applying to universities, I was choosing between business administration and IT. My parents leaned towards something practical. And I think even then I felt that IT wasn't just a trend, but a whole era.
Next question. What skills and qualifications do you think highly valued in the IT community?
That's an interesting question. Of course, technical skills are important. You need to know programming languages, frameworks to be able to work with databases, understanding architecture. But with experience, I've realized that the most valuable skill is problem solving ability. This could be debugging, refactoring old code, or quickly learning a new tool. The second important aspect is teamwork. Even if you're super professional, but can't explain your idea and accept someone else's point of view, that's a disadvantage. And I would also say that self-learning is highly valued. The IT world changes at lightning speed, and if you're not learning, you're standing still.
Next question. How did you find your first job? What strategies did you use? Perhaps personal connections, community, LinkedIn.
My first job is a separate story. I probably sent out 100 resumes, first on HH, then LinkedIn. The first 20, 30 received no responses. Then I started writing short cover letters, adapting my resume for specific vacancies, and suddenly the first response appeared. My first job was at small Almaty community or company, that dealt with e-commerce solutions, small team, lots of code. That's where I grew professionally. I also participated in IT communities, Telegram chats, Meetup. There I could also find internships and freelance opportunities. Networking works, especially when you're just starting out.
Okay, Courage. What do you think about the 10,000 hours theory? Does it work in IT field?
I believe there's some truth to it. You do get better with time, but in IT, everything depends on how you use those hours. You can spend 10,000 hours just writing code at the same level without improving, or you can learn more than or you can learn more in 1,000 hours if you focus on complex tasks, receive feedback, and read other people's code. During my first year of work, I probably accumulated around 2,500 hours. I was simply obsessed. I coded in the evenings, on weekends, participated in pet projects. This helped me advance much faster.
Okay, thanks. And how important do you think formal education is? Or are just courses is enough for us?
Well, that's debatable. University provides a foundation, algorithm, data structure, understanding how everything works under the hood. That's important. But if someone is truly passionate, they can study this on their own. Courses are a good start, especially practical ones. Personally, I'm glad I went through university. It wasn't just about code, it was also about discipline and learning how to learn. Ideally, both university and courses. University gives depth, courses provide focus on application.
Okay, from your experience in Kazakhstan and in IT sphere, how do you assess the development of the IT sector in Kazakhstan?
I see positive dynamics, more and more startups, investments, technoparks. People are beginning to understand that IT is not just making websites. We already have companies creating products for the global market. There are problems, of course, skill shortage, outflow to Europe and the US, often a lack of management experience, but overall, I'm optimistic. Every year, more talented people appear. It's especially nice to see development in cities beyond Astana and Almaty.
Okay, Courage, in your mind, what does the average IT specialist in Kazakhstan look like?
Probably a guy 23 to 28 years old, most often with higher education, although sometimes without, works in web development or mobile, knows one or two programming languages, for example, JavaScript and Python, often self taught. Salary varies generally. Greatly, juniors receive 200 to 300,000 tenge, middle already 500 plus, and seniors from a million and above. But now more women are entering IT, and that's super.
There is a stereotype among crowds that IT people are introverts. Is that true?
Partially, they are introverts and they are extroverts. I would say that earlier it was more typical silent geniuses in dark rooms. Now it's different. Many developers actively communicate, speak at events, write blogs. But yes, among programmers, the percentage of introverts is higher because the work itself requires concentration and solitude. I, for example, am more of an ambient. I can be silent and code for days, and then the next give a lecture in a room of 100 people.
About your work, what does prestige in IT mean to you?
For me, prestige is not just salary, but rather influence. When you make a product used by 1,000 people, that's prestigious. Or when other developers use your open source code. Money, yes, that's also a factor, but the team and culture are important too. Working with smart people who push you forward, that's real prestige. It's also prestigious when you can share experience, mentor, and help other people grow.
Above all factors like money, influence, and whatever else, which specialization is the most prestigious for you?
Currently, there's hype around data science and AI. It's cool, I don't argue, but backend developers are always in demand, especially those who can build architecture and work with high load. DevOps specialists are also very important. I wouldn't divide into higher and lower, especially everyone has their roles. There are people who just enjoy testing or interface design. Without them, there would be no products. To be honest, yes, backend and AI are probably the highest paid now.
What does it require to be demand in Kazakhstan and globally?
In Kazakhstan, you need to know at least one stack thoroughly. For example, JavaScript and Node and MongoDB or Docker. You need to show that you're not just coding but solving problems, being able to write clean code and understand architecture. For the global market, English is mandatory. Participation in open source certificates project, also GitHub activity, forum participation, LinkedIn profile, and preferably experience working with remote teams.
Next question, which IT companies do you consider top tier?
In Kazakhstan, Choco Family, Datanomics, BTS Digital, Beeline Digital, They create product, not just outsource. Globally, Google, Microsoft, Stripe, GitHub. But small startups can also be very strong. The main thing is culture and a team.
Next question. Which universities prepare strong IT specialists?
KBT is technically strong. I2 is a good start, especially if you strive yourself. Nazarbayev, there's more academic preparation there, but honestly, much depends on the person themselves. Even in a weaker university, you can grow if you're not studying just for the diploma.
Next question. What's your attitude toward IT in government organizations?
It depends on the organization itself. There are good examples, digitalization of government services like the eGov, but generally business is faster, more flexible in the public sector. They are often slow bureaucracy but stability. Young specialists are better off going into business or startups. There's more drive there.
Next question. Is a place for nepotism in IT?
I think wherever there are people, there's also connections. But in IT, this works less. If you don't know how to code, you simply won't pass the probation period. Results are immediately visible there. Therefore, if I would say that IT is one of the most meritocratic fields, but of course, connections help you get to the interview. Passing it, that's a matter of skill.
How important soft skills?
Very important. Previously, everyone thought that the main thing is to code. Now, the ability to explain, listen, accept criticism, especially if you want to be a team lead or architect. Soft skills turn a programmer into an engineer.
About behavior of people. How does society react to the IT profession? Has anything changed in recent years, about 6 years?
Before, they used to say, why are you doing sitting in a computer all day? Now it's, oh, you're in IT, cool. The status has changed. Relatives are proud. Friends ask you to teach them. Now it's fashionable. But the main thing is not fashion, but value. People have realized that IT really solves problems.
And our last question from our group is, what would you advise IT students to improve their skills in IT sphere?
I would say learn how to solve problems, not just complete courses. Write code every day, do pet projects, participate in hackathons, competitions. Try to not just be a student, but an active community member. And don't be afraid to ask questions. The ability to learn is more important than any knowledge.
Okay, Courage, thank you very much for the interview. It was very interesting to know about your experience, about your past in IT sphere. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you too. Good luck with your studies and future path in IT. I hope my experience was helpful.